Hey guys, Natalie here with Nelson Ace Hardware in Prairie, Chien. Just wanted to give you an update on our hydrangea pruning that we did earlier this season. As you can see right here, this one is our hydrangea quickfire tree. This was one of the ones we did an example on this spring, and it is just about to bloom. As a reminder, this is a panicle hydrangea, a hydrangea tree, and it blooms on new wood. Over here, we have our hydrangea macrophylla, which are the endless summer hydrangeas, and this is also just starting to bloom. So as you'll recall from the previous video, we pruned our hydrangea quickfire tree. We left this one alone and just did barely the top tips of the buds. So we cut down right there. Just wanted to show you guys a reference point before we jump into our second portion of this video, which is our hydrangea 101. All right, we're over here in our shrub yard. I've pulled together a few different hydrangeas that we carry. You'll see a variety of all three that are very good for here in Wisconsin, Zone 5. The first one we have is our panicle hydrangeas. So this is a quickfire tree and a quickfire shrub. I just pulled the same one so you guys can see a reference point here. But both of these are panicle hydrangeas, which means they have a cone-shaped bloom. So if you zoom in really quickly here, cone-shaped bloom. They bloom on new wood. They take the full sun. As long as they have a little extra supplemental water, they will be just fine. Very easy to care for. This is perhaps the easiest varieties or kind of hydrangeas that you can grow. The next we have is our smooth hydrangeas. This one specifically is an Annabelle hydrangea. As you can see, we have a very soft, lacy texture on these. And if you look at the leaf, you can see a difference here. This is going to be one of the main differences. So we have our leaf here compared to our leaf over here. Different shape. This one is a little bit more elongated, a little bit rounder. This is a smooth hydrangea here, this Annabelle hydrangea. Also, it will take some full sun, but requires more water than the panicle would take. We have them out in the full sun in our yard right now, and as you can see, it's doing just fine. These are in bloom right now, which is really exciting to see. So, Annabelle hydrangea, smooth hydrangea, will take full sun or shade, blooms on new wood, so you can prune it anytime in the spring, and you should be okay to get some blooms. Not as easy to care for as the panicles, but still very simple. The next variety we have is our hydrangea macrophylla. These ones we get in bud and bloom stage in the springtime, and they're going to be full of color, and they're just stunning. These hydrangeas are a hybrid, which means they bloom on old wood more commonly, and then some of them will also bloom on new wood. The endless summer is one of those examples. Typically, it's easier to think of these as blooming on old wood, meaning that you don't prune at specific times of the year. So leave these ones alone. Don't prune them until probably early June is a really good time when you can go in and cut out the dead sticks. If you do feel like you need to prune later in the season, maybe August, late August, you're pruning, you're cutting off any spent blooms and you're letting that plant recharge for next year. Do not prune this one in the spring. You will cut off your blooms. Hydrangea macrophylla, the mop head hydrangea, is very sensitive to pH in the soil. So as you can see, we have a few different ones here. We have endless summer, or summer crush is another name for this one. We have the bloomstruck. And then new for this year, we have the eclipse. And this is our last eclipse that we have. And the key features on this is it is really dark purple burgundy foliage, and then beautiful berry colored blooms. All of these are sensitive to pH, and so they're going to adjust slightly of the color of their petals when they're in full bloom based on that soil acidity. They do age out a little bit too and turn a little more dusty colored. As you can see on this hydrangea endless summer right here, we have a brand new bud coming right here. We have one that is fully in bloom, and then this would be a spent bloom right here. So you could cut this off right now. I'll show you how to do that later in this video. Wanted to talk a little bit more about soil acidity because they are so sensitive to pH. So this one is a twist and shout. This is also a hydrangea macrophylla, but we call this a lace cap hydrangea. So if you'll notice here, it blooms slightly differently than our endless summer. I don't know if you can get both of those in one shot or not. but this one has a rounded appearance here, and the twist and shout, this one right here, the lace cap, has the buds starting, and then the petals will open slightly later. So we have these two here. Wanted to show this one specifically because it has a color chart on here. We have acidic soil and alkaline soil. So as you can see, this picture is pink, but this is a purple/blue flower. This is changing and reacting to the color, or the color is changing because it's reacting to that pH in the soil. So we have a few different products here in front that will help you get the colors of blooms that you're looking for. So the first one is going to be Mere Acid. This is a Miracle-Gro product, and as the name implies, it has acid in it, so it's going to turn your hydrangeas blue. Then we have Garden Lime and Soil Acidifier. These ones are by Espoma. This is a organic product that they have, and the lime will turn it pink. The soil acidifier will turn it blue. This is safer than aluminum sulfate, which is commonly used. You have a less chance of burning. This one also has a less chance of burning than the aluminum sulfate would. So if you know what you're doing, try aluminum sulfate. The last thing that we have here is Milorganite. In Wisconsin, we have high levels of phosphorus, which are going to be in your soil. They don't break down as easily. So that phosphorus is what is the key nutrient for blooming. You want to get blooms on your hydrangea macrophyllus, so we fertilize them with Milorganite or some of these other ones that I've shown you here, and that will help you get consistent blooming. And the Milorganite is unique in that it has lots of microorganisms that are going to unlock those key nutrients that are already in the soil. So this is a very low, non-burning fertilizer. It is actually made from human feces here in Milwaukee. So some people get turned off by that. But what you're wanting to do with that product is you're just wanting to unlock those nutrients in the soil. It has microorganisms that will break it down and help your hydrangea bloom. So keys to getting blooming on hydrangea macrophylla: fertilizer, soil acidity, and pruning. Hydrangea macrophylla likes to have a certain soil pH, and it will bloom more consistently when it's at that soil pH and has adequate nutrients and fertilizer. Again, blooms in summer, blooms on old wood, prefers shade. So if we were to rank these in order of sunlight, it would be first our panicle hydrangeas, going back to these, full sun to part shade, and shade.